One of the most sought-after fish across the ice belt are bluegills. And bluegills are one of the most abundant fish across the Midwest. Big bluegills, however, are never common or abundant. On today's show, we share a method that works well for finding and triggering big gills by using larger lures and fishing high above the fish.
There's a good fish, Tony, if it's a bluegill.
I've got a few down there.
Yeah. Yeah, when they come through, they just light up, but that's the whole thing is, whoa, look at that.
That's a big one.
That's a dandy. That is a dandy there.
There's one.
There's a dandy fish there, Tony. That is a beautiful looking gill. You know, that's the thing with these bigger baits is you're going to trigger the big, wow, Tony, look at that fish. Look at that fish. Beautiful fish, Tony. That is a double. Yours is a little bit bigger than mine. Yours is a dandy.
Beautiful color.
That's a big fish. But that's the thing, you use these bigger baits, trigger the bigger fish, and keep the small fish away. That's the name of the game in some cases. Excellent.
Seems to be working.
Let's get these fish unhooked and back down the hole. Those are a couple of nice bluegills.
Yes, I'll take those all
That's
day.
a nice way to start the day. On today's show, we're going to do something that's a little bit unorthodox, and that is use bigger baits to trigger bigger bluegills. Not only do these bigger baits like the Salmo Chubby Darter attract and trigger bigger fish, but it eliminates the small fish. And so in a lake basin that's just full of fish, it allows you to target those bigger fish, and that's what we're going to discuss on today's show. There's a fish, Tony. You know, I tell you what, oh, there's a dandy. There's a dandy. Look at that fish. Look at that. That is a bluegill. Wow. I was just saying, you know, the key to these chubby darters, in my opinion, is fish them above the fish. Cause that fish to chase it up. And that's the thing. You got one now too?
Yeah.
All right.
He was high.
But that's the thing is, you get these fish chasing these chubby darters up and get those fish to compete against each other to hit them. Fish comes up to them. If that fish doesn't hit them, which when they do hit these, they hit them hard, just keep raising that fish. Keep lifting them. And wow, there's the proof right there. That's just some impressive bluegills right there. And that's the thing is, we probably have 5 feet of fish below us. The top fish are going to be the biggest fish. Those are the most aggressive fish, and below those fish are a lot of smaller fish, and so that way we're making those big fish compete against the rest of the school, cause those big fish to accelerate to the top of the school, and that's what you get right there. It's the easiest way there is to sort big fish.
Yeah. 10 feet of water, and we're bringing these fish up to 5 feet.
Yep, absolutely. Let's get these in the water.
Come midwinter on many fisheries, there's no shortage of fish that stack up over basins or wintering holes. Clouds of small bluegills, crappies, perch, and other species roam these basins mixed right in with larger fish. In the right situation, an angler can sort out or eliminate these numerous small fish by using large profile search lures, like the Salmo Chubby Darter.
Oh, that's a good fish there, Tony. Look at that rod bend.
Oh, another huge gill.
Nice fish, Tony.
Man.
That's a beauty.
Yeah, you know, with these large profiles of these chubby darters, it really gives that flash to bring those fish in. And boy, when you get a school to come in, it's easy to pop them up above and watch these bigger fish come shooting up.
That's the whole key with these bigger baits, trying to get these bigger fish, is fish above the fish. Don't drop into the school because you're going to get attacked by everything. Fish above the fish and get those bigger fish to break up from the school.
Yeah, this is what you're rewarded with for the effort.
That's a beautiful fish there, Tony. Nice work.
You know, one of the things that we found today is with that large profile lure to get those bluegills to really come in, we've been actually tipping the hooks with little spikes. And on the chubby darter, when it goes down, it's like that little chunk of meat just hanging there. is this what entices those bigger gills to come up. There's a fish, Jason.
Yeah, I got one here too. Isn't that cool? These are nice bluegills. Ooh, nice bass. Well, that's a nice bonus.
A nice bonus fish.
Yeah, I bet that's probably eaten a few bluegills. We'll
sure.
get this in the water.
Welcome back to more Jason Mitchell Outdoors.
Here you got him, Tony.
You know, here's another gill.
Yeah, that's a beauty.
You know, that's another key with these chubby darters. We're in this basin fishing 15 feet of water, and there's a mixture of fish. I mean, we've seen bass, crappies, gills, and using the larger search lure like this, you really get to kind of weed through the fish and sort through them, and it's been fun.
Yeah, there's no shortage of fish below us, and that's the whole thing, is don't drop into the school, you know, because otherwise you're just going to get attacked by all kinds of little fish, perch, little bluegills, you name it. But if you fish high and force those fish to come up, that's the reward right there.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Nice work. There's a fish, Tony. Oh, look at that rod stopper. Gotta love that, huh?
He comes shooting up above everybody again.
Yep. You know, in order to, you know, catch big bluegills, you got to be on water that's got big bluegills in it. But, you know, this is pretty typical on a lot of lakes. And I tell you what, a good indicator of where to look for bluegills is look at the water clarity. If you drill holes and you've got clear water, chances are you're going to have weeds in those lakes. At that point, if you do have weeds, typically these fish don't pull out over these basins until midwinter when these weeds start to break down. But if you drill a hole and you have yellow on the ice, you have stained water, typically basins will hold fish from first ice all the way through to last ice. And so use that water clarity to kind of dictate your strategy to know where to look for these fish. Got him?
Yep. Another nice bluegill.
That is a dandy. This has really been an incredible day, Tony.
Oh, it really
That
has.
is a dandy.
Makes a believer out of you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Show you what we're doing here with this chubby darter. This is the number 4 size chubby darter. That's the smallest chubby darter in that chubby darter family. But what we're doing on that bottom hook is we're putting some maggots on there. And with panfish especially, typically you want to tip these baits. Now, to give this chubby darter the most action possible, use a really light line. In this case, I'm just using 3-pound bionic braid, but don't overkill the line. Use a really light line so that way that chubby darter's got a lot of action, and that action is what brings in the fish. And so you don't want to compromise that action at all. When you stroke this lure, it'll dart off to the side and it'll flutter, and that's what brings in these fish. And these fish will typically come in on a chubby darter from a long ways off. It's an excellent call bait. If you're looking for fish and trying to bring them in from a distance, a chubby darter is one of the best baits out there for bringing in fish. And as you've seen today, it's also one of the best baits out there for triggering big fish and eliminating the small sniffers or the small fish that just peck at it. The only fish that's going to hit this bait is basically an aggressive fish, or in case of panfish, the bigger top end fish in that school.
You know, one of the things we've really found important today is to keep that chubby darter moving. As we're dropping it down, kind of keep the bait moving constantly, and that's when those bigger, more aggressive bluegills are shooting up and hitting that chubby darter hard.
To specifically target the largest panfish in a school, fish the chubby darter aggressively and fish high above the school. How high to fish depends on the depth of water, water clarity, and the aggressiveness of the fish. But it's not uncommon to see fish rise 5 to 10 feet or more to hit a lure. So fish high and work your way closer depending on the attitude of the fish. By fishing high above the fish can see the profile from further away, and the distance intimidates small fish from rising up to the lure. Small fish are often hesitant to leave the security of the pack. The larger dominant fish, however, have no problems rising up out of the school. Play keep away from the school and work the lure above the fish and wait for a larger target to shoot up from the school. These will often be some of the largest fish in the school. This technique also makes you more efficient because small fish are not as likely to shoot up and tackle such a large profile lure.
First thing you're going to notice about this shelter is the fact that it's fully thermal. And what that means is we're using a quilted thermal fabric, which is up to 30% warmer than anything else that's on the market as far as traditional fabric on shelters. And what that does is not only is that shelter going to be warmer, but it also reduces condensation. It's a lot quieter in the wind, and so it's a lot more comfortable house to fish out of. You don't have the frost, you don't have the condensation where you have water dripping, and most of all, you don't have ice collecting in your tub. And so that's one feature that I can really appreciate as an angler. But the other thing that we've done is we've chosen a light gray fabric color. Now, why the light gray? First off, light gray does not stick out from a distance. And so if you're an aggressive fisherman, you're the person that's out finding fish, drilling holes, and trying to get on fish and get on spots, it's a lot easier to see a blue house from a mile away than a gray house. And so as a guide and as somebody that's always out looking for fish, I want to blend in as much as possible. I don't want to attract attention to myself. I don't want to attract attention to spots, attract attention to lakes. But the other thing you're going to notice inside the shelter is it lets in a lot of ambient light. And so when you're fishing all day, you have a lot less fatigue and strain on your eyes. It's a lot easier to see your rod tip, a lot easier to watch the line, a lot easier to read and adjust your electronics, tie knots. Everything that you're doing inside requires your eyes. And so it's a lot easier to see, and it's a very comfortable shelter to fish out of. The other thing that we've done is we've beefed up the support bars. It's a very heavy duty frame, and what that allows you to do is it's a lot more comfortable and solid and sturdy no matter what the wind conditions are. I've had this fish house in 30-mile-plus winds on Devil's Lake, Lake the Woods, and a lot of brutal places, and you can fish comfortably inside this shelter. The other thing that Clam has done for this year is come up with an ingenious way to support your bars with just an easy push-thumb system that is easy to operate. You don't have to push your fingers in the holes to get the buttons to line up, and so it makes it easier to use and also makes it more durable. The other thing that Clam has done new for this season is they've come up with an ingenious way to stash your support bars so that they're out of the way. Before, they were always rolling around the tub, they were always underneath something, they were always in the way. Whereas now they're mounted on the frame itself in the ceiling, so that way you just bend them down, pop them into place, and you've got the ultimate support system if you have to fish out in heavy winds. Padded adjustable seats can be folded down, so that way if you have a tonneau cover on your vehicle or if you're short on space in the back of your vehicle, you can keep the height the same height as the tub when you fold up the fish house. A couple of other accessories that we've designed is interior and exterior lights that mount right onto the sled, and what these allow you to do is light up the whole area where you're fishing. They're great for charging lures, just getting a little bit of light in there for tying knots, and it's amazing how strong these new LED lights are for just lighting up the general fishing area in front of you. Another thing that we've done to this house, we've added a sealed bait well that you can flip so it can be outside of the shelter when you're actually fishing, but when you're storing it or hauling it, you can flip it inside. So it's a very convenient item that's just going to allow you to be more efficient, enable you to catch more fish. So everything about this shelter is designed to make you more efficient, more comfortable, and allow you to catch a lot more fish this winter. Go to your nearest retailer and ask for the Jason Mitchell Pro Thermal Fish Houses. You will not be disappointed.
Big baits, fished high in the water column above the fish, work well whenever the fish are in a positive mood, where they will accelerate and rise up to the bait. When fish are overall aggressive, the larger fish will often position at the top of the school. When fish are negative, the larger fish will often position at the bottom of the school. This chubby darter technique shines when the big fish are riding on top and the overall school is aggressive. This is a technique that works well for sorting the bigger fish in a school, but in order to catch the big gills, there has to be big gills on the body of water you're fishing. When fish won't rise up to the presentations, there are situations where anglers might have to use heavier presentations like tungsten or small spoons to drop through the school fast to get to the fish at the bottom of the school. Match your presentation to what you see on your electronics. Your Vexilar will reveal the attitude of the school of fish below you.
There's a good fish, Tony. Imagine if bluegills got to be 20 inches long. That's a dandy right there. But no, I'm just saying, if they got that big, you wouldn't even be able to get them in.
Well, that one will push the halfway point. It's a nice fish.
Wow. That is a beauty there. That's a beauty. And basically what we're doing here is we're using braided line. I like to use braid. I'm using 3-pound bionic braid, and I like to use that lighter braid because it's going to give that chubby darter a lot better action. And you want to use light line. When I'm fishing these for panfish, typically I tie right to the lure or to a split ring just to give that bait good action. But that is a beautiful fish. Wow. That is fun. That is fun. They're just coming up and just eating these. Eating them. That is good stuff. Let's get this fish back in the water. But wow, that's what it's all about right there. That's why big baits catch big fish. Oh, there he goes again on the drop. I got one coming in here. There's a good fish. There's a good fish, Tony.
I'm amazed at how these fish are hitting that chubby darter.
I know, isn't that something? I just love it when they pull drag and you know it's a bluegill. They're hoping. Might be a bass, but
They've sure been bulldogging.
yeah, that is good stuff. That's the thing is, you know, you could go in here with a teardrop and a wax worm and catch all kinds of fish. You're going to catch more fish, but you're not going to catch as big a fish. And that's the whole thing, is that these just allow you to sort these. Whoa!
That's a big one.
Look at that. Look at that. That's
Fish.
that is a huge bluegill. Look at that. Oh, that is a beauty there, my friend. Look at that. That is a bluegill.
Dinner plate size gills, Jason.
Oh, I know. You know, and a lot of people, they know that these lures work good on walleyes, but right situation, and these are great panfish bait, especially if you're looking to target big panfish. Wow, that's a fish right there.
To find out more information on Jason Mitchell Outdoors, make their official webpage one of your favorite pages. Find out upcoming show schedules and air times, along with past shows, article and product reviews at jasonmitchelloutdoors.com. Great information on the outdoors is just one click away.